cycle of a human being is supported by 3 levels of consciousness. One is the body consciousness, and the other 2 being the mind and the Atmic consciousness. All these 3 levels of consciousness are dependent on one another. There is nothing like one level of consciousness being totally independent of the other. In fact, it is very difficult, or rather impossible, to separate one from the other. There is a body level, there is a mind level, and there is an Atmic level. Together, these 3 put together is called the concept of human life. The way the life is led very much depends on these 3 levels of consciousness being attuned. It is very difficult for a human being to be devoid of one level of consciousness and to live with one consciousness alone. The body consciousness has to support the mind and the Atmic consciousness. The mind consciousness has to support the body and the Atmic consciousness, and the Atma should support the mind and the body consciousness. There is nothing like one can be independent of the other. These 3 coordinate. Always man craves for something like Atma without understanding the basic principles on which the body and the mind functions. Without understanding the concept of the body and the mind, it is impossible for a person to understand the concept of an Atma. It is said, Ishvara Guru Atmetihi. Ishvara, Guru and Atma. In fact, Guru can be visually seen. He can be equated to the concept of body consciousness. The Atma cannot be perceived, it is inside, probably it can be equated to the Atmic consciousness, and the Ishvara can be equated to the mind consciousness. When a man lives with the concept of body, mind and Atma, he attains a stage where it can be termed as universal consciousness or cosmic consciousness. He cannot run away from the other 2. It is impossible. To run away from the body or to run away from mind is to run away from one's own self. Without one's own self, the third one, the Atmic consciousness or the super consciousness, cannot be realized. The body came for existence to do certain things. The body became the temple. Without the body, the mind or the Atma does not exist. The very concept of the body was, it has to remain in existence for some time, and it is not immortal. It at some point of time leaves. The body gets aged, old, and as it gets aged, at some point of time it stops functioning. But the body is very much required for the mind to function, or for the mind to conceive the concept of Atma. For the mind to conceive the concept of Atma, it is very much necessary that the body has to exist. Without the body existing, the question of mind conceiving or understanding the principle of Atma or realizing the concept of Atma doesn't arise. So it is wrong to call that a body is not required. It is wrong to say that a body cannot be conscious. It is wrong to say a man should not take care of the body. In fact, body becomes very, very important. The body houses the mind and the Atma, so all the more, without the body, the concept of the mind or the Atma doesn't arise. The body has got certain roles to play. The body has to exist. So it has to take care. It has to be taken care. If the body has to be taken care, you have to follow through everything. Every aspect of it. Every day in the morning you have to wash your teeth. Every day in the morning you have to clean your body. Every day in the morning, yes, it requires something like dressing up of the body. You cannot present yourself as you were born. Everything, whatever the body requires, it requires some food, some nourishment. It requires a lot of things. All these things need to be supported for the body. Yes, the body's consciousness expects these things to be performed. Without the body, definitely the mind and the Atma does not arise. So, maximum whatever protection has to be given to the body, it has to be given at all cost. There is no question of neglecting the body at any stage. For good health is very much required. So for good health, you have to follow through various principles, and the body has got on its own certain things like odor, smell, etc. These things come, so they have to be taken care of. You have to remove that smell, you have to remove that odor. The body is to be taken care in all ways. It is not that the body should not be taken care, or you must not be conscious of the body. The very concept of mind and Atma comes only if the body exists. Without the body existing, the question of the Atma or the question of the mind does not arise. In fact, body is otherwise explained as matter. Many people come to me and argue that matter is meaningless and matter is not God. If matter is meaningless and if matter is not God, why the hell the mind and the Atma were put into matter if matter should not be given that much of an importance? In fact, matter was given to realize the concept of mind and Atma. Matter is not devoid of mind and Atma. In fact, you and I may not be meeting and talking if such a substance called matter does not exist. Yes, the matter also has got a consciousness. It has got something. If you subtly see the body, sometimes the body expands, sometimes the body contracts. Inside the body there are various parts of the body. They are all performing the functions. The eyes are there to see, the ears are there to hear, the mouth is there to eat, or to talk, or to taste. The skin is there probably for the feeling, or for perspiring. There are a lot of things that are connected with the body. The parts which can be seen externally, the parts which cannot be seen externally, which are functioning internally. To make the man a viable proposition, a body is very much required. In fact, when you take the evolution theory, man traveled from the fish to the tortoise, to the boar, to the lion, to the dwarf man. From the dwarf man, the imbalanced man, and from the imbalanced man to a balanced man, from the balanced man to a half divine, half man stage, and totally to a divine stage. The concept of 10 avatars. These 10 avatars, if you see, all these avatars have not been made just with mind and Atma. It has been made with the body as such. The ultimate, the universal consciousness manifested in all these avatars. In various forms it came down. So the concept of dismissing matter as not useful or the body as not useful doesn't arise. In fact, the universal consciousness has explained these concepts only through that matter. So without matter, you cannot say you can realize the concept of mind or Atma. So all the more the matter becomes very, very important. Somebody was telling me, the ultimate is something which is devoid of matter, and materialistic things are not the ultimate. If materialistic things are not the ultimate, and they are not going to form a portion of Sarvam Kalvitam Brahma, and if materialistic things are going to be taken away, if matter is going to be taken away, then a question naturally arises. Then is there any other God or any other demon which is controlling matter? Which is more powerful than the existing God or the existing total consciousness? Naturally, it has to be accepted that the question of matter manifestation also came only from the consciousness and not from anything else. If the ultimate reality, the true consciousness from which the man has manifested, if that statement is going to be true, and if a man is a product of nature, is the statement going to be true, definitely the matter also forms a part of the nature and it is not away from the nature. Or else, the very word of Sarvam Kalvitam Brahma